Hey guys, my name is Marta, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. This is the first installment in the Neapolitan Quartet, which is a 4-book series in which we follow Elena and Laila, friends growing up in the 50s in Italy. In this first installment, we get to see how they grew up in this time period, and we really get to see the struggles they go to and the problems they have to face. The book is divided in 3 parts, in 2 main parts. The first one is a very short introduction in which we get introduced to the characters and in which we see how our main character Elena is going to start narrating the actual story that the book is going to tell. Then we get a second part which is divided into other parts, and this one is the actual text. The first part of the second part is dedicated to the girls' childhood. It is a very short part in which we get to see how these girls become friends, how they start growing up, and how they interact with the environment they live in. It's basically the story of this man named Don Achille, which is described as this horrible monster that they are very afraid of. This part is also very interesting because of the way it's narrated. We get to see the actions take place from the point of view of a child, which gives the overall text this innocent style that really contradicts the reality that they are describing, which is a very violent and dark reality that basically shines for how discriminatory and cruel it is. It's a book that has this nostalgic aura going around it, but at the same time very dark and very hard to read because of the events described. Then the second part, which is adolescence, is the part that comprises most of the novel, and in it we see how these girls are starting to become women. We get to see how they start growing apart. One of them, our narrator, Elena, is going to this more prestigious school where he is learning Latin, while Laila is staying in the neighbor school and will soon stop studying while she gets to a certain age. This part really shows how different their future is going to be because of the way they are growing up and because of the way their families see the world. While Elena's family is more open, they let her learn and study, Laila's family is more traditional and they want her to follow the family business and to stay stuck in the place she's supposed to have in society as a woman in the 50s. In this part we see how they start to know how the world functions, how they start to get interested in boys, how they learn about how they are perceived by others, how they are starting to deal with the way their body works, the way their body is perceived by men. It's a part that really touches upon themes like marriage, like marriage and the role it plays in a woman's life. It also talks about relationships, not only between girls and boys, but also between friends. When it comes to the characters, I have to say that the characters are not written to be likable. While I really found myself liking Laila because of how bad I felt for her, because of the conditions she grew up in and because of the way she is forced to live as, I have to recognize that he is not a very likable person. At the beginning he is presented at us as this very strong-willed girl who is willing to do anything to get what she wants, but at the end she starts to grow into a more traditional lifestyle. It's really sad to see how he wants to fit inside this box that he is supposed to fit in. On the other hand, we have Elena, who is presented as us as a very smart girl, but at the same time as this pretty naive person because of the way he's fascinated by her friend and wants to imitate her in every single thing the other girl does. He isn't supposed to be very likable either. You really get to see at the beginning how he is pretty lost. He doesn't know what he wants, he doesn't know what he is, and he only knows how to do what her friend wants or what her friend would do. However, as the book goes on, she starts to grow into herself, she starts to become someone, and you really get to see how that contrasts with the way her friend is growing and with the woman her friend is becoming. About the rest of the characters, I have to say that they are also pretty distinguished. We have a pretty wide cast of characters, and I was very thankful that we had a family index at the very beginning of this edition, because there are a lot of people showing up in this novel, there are a lot of names, and it was a great help to have a list at the very beginning. But overall, about them, I have to say that most of them have this set role in the story and they stick to them. Last but not least, I wanted to talk a little bit about the themes the book deals with, besides the ones that I have already touched upon, which are women and female stereotypes. The book also talks, of course, about friendship. It talks about the things that unite people, how at the beginning the friendship starts as a fascination, but they grow together, but then grow apart and then get together again. It's a book that really shows how friendship isn't a solid thing and how it can change through the years. The book also deals with family and family traditions. I have already talked about that, so I won't extend myself anymore. But the book really touches upon the fact that the person you become depends a lot on the way you grew up in and the environment you are living in while you are growing up. Also, the book deals a bit with corruption. No one in this novel is really innocent. There is a murder that takes place, there is also infidelity, and there is also people that become traitors to others. It's a book that really shows how society is imperfect and how there were a lot of not very good things going on in this time period. Overall, I have to say that I did enjoy the book. I enjoyed the themes that the book explored. I enjoyed the characters, and the story was overall nice. I also really enjoyed the writing style. I enjoyed how surprisingly dark it was, because I don't know what I imagined it to be, but I didn't imagine that it was going to be this dark and this violent. Elena Ferrante's writing style is pretty descriptive and at the same time pretty beautiful, and I really enjoyed the way he dealt with this very complex topic. And on a personal note, I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars, and even though I enjoyed it, I am not completely sure I will continue with the series because it wasn't my favorite thing. However, I do recommend it if you want to explore how growing up in the 50s in Italy was like, if you want to see how these topics that I have already explained are developed in the novel. And that was all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below if you read this book or if you've read anything else by Elena Ferrante. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. Don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I hope you're this one amazing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!